So welcome everybody. Thanks for hopping on. I reached out to Lisa Ament of Doylestown, Pennsylvania. She's an executive director on our team a few days ago, and I asked her if she would be willing to hop on and let me interview her as a training for the team, because as I was running some end of the month reports, I noticed her. I mean, I know she always has a really great residual customer base, but I noticed her CCV numbers were just incredible. So I know that we all have a lot to learn from her. She's a mom of 3 boys, all in college now, so she's an empty nester. She's got a lot of experience in network marketing, direct selling prior to Nerium. And one of the things I admire about her a lot is that she is super duper organized. Like I get her emails and I'm like, I feel ashamed of myself because she's so talented in that aspect of her business and her life. I know that she has a whiteboard that she keeps, and she's going to give us some of her tips, and she's made some really great graphs as to where her customers have come from, and she's really worked hard to prepare this call and to give you guys, really to add value to all of our businesses. So I appreciate the time that she put into this and the fact that she's willing to share with us. So a lot of you saw on the introduction to the call that Lisa has in the very high 2000s and sometimes low 3000s of CCV per month. So let me start by explaining what CCV is for some of you who might be new to the business or maybe not be new to the business. CCV is one of those things that I didn't even understand myself for a while. So it stands for Customer Commissionable Volume. And each month they calculate your CCV. It's not the same as your the point amount. So it's not, you know, an 80 ADV or like something that's an 80 points auto delivery for your auto delivery, or when you're buying it for the first time, if it counts as 80 points or it's $90 product. CCV is a little less than that. It's about 90% of the full value of the product. So for example, a night cream is only worth 72 CCV. So that's important to know when you're trying to calculate how to increase your CCV. If you're trying to hit another level, you want to be able to look back in your compensation plan and look at the different CCV rates for each product, know what they're worth. So we can help you with that. But so CCV is your residual orders. So it's not first time preferred customers. When they order for the first time, that just counts as your PQV. It does not count as CCV. But their second month, their third month, all of their subsequent orders after their first month now go into that. We kind of picture it as a bucket. That's your CCV bucket. That's your residual orders. So when you want to increase your CCV, going out and getting brand new customers does not change your CCV value. Keeping your previous customers increases your CCV. So the more residual customers you have, the more your CCV goes up. So residual customers, also personal purchases. So not through your auto delivery. So you don't go into your own shopping cart and adjust your auto delivery. But when you buy, let's say, a Blitz pack, okay? If you were to buy a Blitz pack, or if you were to purchase you wanted some extra EHT, or you're just buying product for yourself, that increases your CCV as well. So personal purchases and residual customer orders are what attributes to your CCV. Now there's 3 tiers. You make between 10 and 25% commission on your residual orders, and the amount that you make depends upon what you reach for the end of the month. Now you're going to make the first 10% in your weekly checks. So 10% is the minimum. So as long as you have over 200 CCV, you're going to make 10%. You're going to get that every Wednesday in your weekly check as those residual orders go out. So if you have a customer whose order processes on the 10th of the month, after the 10th, that next Wednesday, you're going to see 10% on that order show up in your weekly check. And they wait until the last day of the month to see what's the highest, what do you call it, rank you hit in the CCV part of the compensation plan. So if you are over 401 CCV for the month, you're going to make 15%. If you're over 1,001, okay, so not 1,000. People have made mistakes and missed it by having 1,000 CCV. You need 1,001 or more CCV for the month. Now you're going to be at the max level, which is 25%. So my belief is, why leave money on the table? That should be everybody's goal every single month, is to reach 1,001 and get to that max rank. Now, the cool thing about it is they pay you retroactively for the entire month at whatever the highest level you hit is. So you're going to have gotten that first 10% in each of your weekly checks But if you hit that 25%, now you're going to go back and in your monthly check on the 15th of the next month, you're going to see that extra 15% to make up the difference come in that monthly check. So just doing that simple math, let's just say you're at 3,000 CCV for the month. I mean, that's not chump change. That's over $700 extra in your check. I mean, some people are in this business just because they want to make $500 or $1,000 a month, and you pretty much have that in the bag if you're making if you've got 3,000 CCV each month of residual orders, and you're just getting that money residually each month. So I hope that kind of clears up exactly what the CCV is, what the levels are that you're shooting for, and then one last tip and piece of information that's crucial for CCV. So for this month, it's too late to change your CCV. Anything you're doing right now. So one other thing you can do to increase your CCV is you can reactivate an old customer. So let's say you have a customer who hasn't had an auto delivery for 8 months, but they used to be a
Not your phone.
Ooh.
Ah.
Oh, you're not on mute, Janice. I don't think.
Hit the wrong button. I'm so sorry.
No problem. So if you reactivate an old customer, that will also increase your CCV. So residual customers reactivating an old customer ordering for yourself. So I lost my train of thought there.
I think you were going to talk about Wednesdays.
Thank you. Exactly. That was it. So Wednesday, the last Wednesday of the month, wherever that falls, so occasionally it will also coincide with the last day of the month, but most of the time it does not. You have to look at your calendar and look at the month. So for us, it was this past Wednesday, a couple days ago. That was the last Wednesday in October. That's the last day that you can affect your CCV for that monthly commission period. So you always want to be paying attention to what your CCV amounts are, and you can run reports. You can actually run a report in your back office for your team. If you have a team, you can run a CCV report to see where everybody is. So I always try to do that towards the end of the month, because there's sometimes people who don't realize how close they are. So you might have somebody, I sent out some messages, I actually have my notes right here. I had somebody who was 64 away from 1,001. Okay, if you're 64 points away from 1,001, that basically means if you buy a night cream yourself, you're going to go from 15% to 25%. So if you are making 15% on, let's say, approximately $930 in volume, it's about $130 approximately. I'm just doing the math in my head. But if you get up to 25%, so you get one more night cream in there, you're going to take that $130 instead to $250. So buying the night cream yourself, if you even had to, it's still profitable. You're still making money on that. So you want to look at that math and figure out what that profit is, and whether it's worth it to purchase the product yourself. Sometimes you're basically going to get that product for free, and you're still going to make a few bucks on the deal. So anyway, I want to get myself out of the way because Lisa's got all the good tips. So again, between 2,000, 2,500, 2,700, and 3,000 CCV monthly, which means not only is she fabulous at getting customers, she's amazing at retaining her customers so that that residual bucket keeps getting bigger, 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 and is consistent. So I'm going to turn it over to Lisa, and I have some questions. We're going to kind of do this interview style so that she can really address the most important things for us and for you so that you can take some notes. So definitely grab a pen or a pencil and a notebook. You're definitely going to want to take notes. This is not something you're going to want to just keep up here in your head. You're definitely going to want to write some things down. So grab something to take notes with, and we'll get going. Oh, I'm sorry. Just one quick thing before, because at the end I don't want to lose track of this, but I do want to make a couple of announcements before I start that I meant to do at the beginning. So we have a really big week coming up. We have 3-star National Marketing Director Dana Menardez and her husband Gustavo Menardez, who are coming into town. I don't know if you guys know, some of you may or may not know them personally, but Dana actually sponsored my sponsor. So Dana sponsored Sarah Nielsen. So she's a pretty direct upline to us. They are $150,000 bonus earners when they hit 3-star. Mom of 6 kids, background in corporate America, has huge amount of success here, and she's coming from Washington. Huge sacrifice because she does have 6 kids. She homeschools them. She's coming for us. You know, we are sometimes out of state trainers are coming because they have team here, but we are her team here. So I really want to make sure that we get a fabulous showing and we really show her support and we get as many people as possible in front of her. to learn everything she has to teach us. So we have a few events coming up. Before she gets here Tuesday, we have a regular market party at Benzie, and then in Old Bridge in New Jersey. Thursday, we actually are going to have, we're going to do something new. She really wanted to, we were going to do an NLC kind of promotion kind of thing for people who were qualified. And we decided we really wanted to keep it open to the entire team because we wanted everybody to get to spend that one-on-one quality time with her. So if you can make it out on Thursday night, we're just doing a social fun event at Benzie again, where we hold our market parties in Old Bridge, where we're just going to have some, appetizers, some drinks. We're just going to hang out in the bar area. I'm sorry, that's Friday night. Thursday night is going to be an RRP in my home here in Freehold. It's open to anybody on the team. You can invite guests and come here. Dana will be the expert. And then Friday night, we'll be doing the social event at Benzie. They have a DJ there on Friday nights. And we're just going to get to hang out and really socialize and bond with each other on a more informal, casual basis. And then Saturday morning in Monroe Township is the regional training. So it is kind of a sacrifice, I know, of a lot of time this week, but if you can make it out to as many of those events as possible, it's really gonna benefit you to be able to spend that one-on-one time with her. And she really wants to help us as much as possible while she has the time out here on the East Coast. So with no further ado, I'm going to get back to the interview now. So, okay, so our Lisa, you want to just introduce yourself real quick before I ask the first question? Anything you want to share about your background?
Sure. You're hearing me okay, though? Yes, okay.
Yes.
My name is Lisa Ament. I live in Doylestown, Pennsylvania, which is about an hour north of Philadelphia. I know our team is widespread. And I've been with Miriam 3 years. Kim Fay is my sponsor, and she is directly under Vanessa. So Kim and I started at about the same time, so we kind of got dual trained by Vanessa when we started. I did do 2 previous direct sales companies, nothing as organized and as great as Miriam, but prior to that, I have a background in advertising and pharmaceutical sales. And I do have 3 boys. I have twins who are 23, and then our youngest is 19. And he's a student at Penn State. So that's my introduction. Oh, I can't hear you, Vanessa.
Okay. Yeah, I muted myself because my husband's vacuuming out there, and then I forgot to unmute myself. So, okay, the first question is, you have 43 preferred customers this month. How long have you had that many? And what would you say your average activity is for gaining and losing preferred customers?
Okay, well, this was a good question because it caused me to analyze it to prepare for tonight, which was good. It was kind of eye-opening. I know that I have kind of swung between 20 and 40 customers a month since I started. I had a really big launch party. I forget how many PCs I got at the party, but at least 10 to start out with. And I just started out very strong, and it's kind of continued to there. But I also like to let everybody know that I lose customers all the time, just like everybody else. When I looked at my full list for the 3 years, I've had 100 customers in 3 years. So 43 are active this month. I know I'm losing 1 next month already, but I know there are 6 that skipped this month that'll come on next month. So it's very fluid no matter what level you are with preferred customers. You can never, when you get a preferred customer, you can never just bank on them being there forever, because that's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. I've lost a few that have become brand partners, which is nice. Mm-hmm. But I just want everyone to understand, and I remember, Vanessa, you telling me this when we first started, is that it's important to get a couple of PCs every month because you're going to lose a couple. And you said it just like that, like it's just part of the deal. And that kind of keeps me from going off the deep end, when someone cancels that I didn't expect was going to cancel. But it happens to me as well.
Absolutely. Thank you. And that's such a good point, because if you only have 5 preferred customers and you lose 3 one month, it feels like the sky is falling when you lost 50, or if you only have 3 active. But if you look at your average, you're somewhere around 40% of the number of customers that you've had. It's just that you have consistently added more and more customers each month, which then makes it not feel like the sky is falling when you have only half of them active. So that's a great point. Okay, so our second question is, tell us about your 43 October preferred customers. So you've got 43 customers. How do you know them? I know that's a big question for a lot of people, is where do you find people? So it's always helpful and interesting to hear about where these customers have come from for you. And I know that you prepared a graph for us. So do you want me to put that up right now?
Yeah, why don't you put it up and I can just talk through it.
Okay, just give me 1 second. Okay, go ahead. You can start talking and I'm going to share the screen.
This was interesting because I'm a big Excel spreadsheet girl. So I exported my list and kind of took a look at it. And it was interesting to see. It was not anything I was overly, surprised about, but most.
Can you see it? Sorry, can you see it?
Yep.
Okay.
You can see, I have it all categorized. Just these are how I know people. That most of my preferred customers come from contacts that I've made via my 3 sons. So it's either sports or just like school. So some of these people have become my friends, but initially how I met them was because our children are the same age. And although I have 3 sons, they're only 2 ages since they're twins. So it's not like I have 5 kids and know everybody in town because I have so many kids at different ages. I just really have 2 ages. So, the biggest bulk of my preferred customers, I can trace back to them. As far as building this category, if you have children, I think that you really have to widen your network and build your list regarding people through your children. So if your children are older, I know I started going back and finding, like, I kept the laminated cards, the rosters from soccer or lacrosse or whatever, just to remind myself of these parents that I did know and that we hung out for a couple of years on the sidelines, just to either try to find them on Facebook or reconnect somehow. Again, even if I hadn't seen them in a long time. I actually have done searches on my computer. I don't know what it is on a Microsoft-based computer, but on a Mac, there's Finder. And I have typed in the search bar, like soccer 2007 and seen what comes up because we often have, the parent list from those years. And that's a good thing to remind you of the people related to your kids. Also, the old directories from elementary school. So, mine are 19, 23, and 23. I still have those directories because I still look at them to look up phone numbers. But it's good to just browse through those and just, again, remind yourself of the people that you can reconnect with. So those are some tips for widening that area. Another big one on my list is family, and I just wanted to clarify that although 11%, of my PCs this month are family, there are tons of family that have never even tried Nerium or showed any interest at all. So I have that same issue that everybody has. You think that the person you're closest to in your family is going to just jump all over Nerium, and then they don't. So I do have, some family, but I've had more family not use it than I did to use it. So it can still end up being in your category, but don't beat yourself up about that. The big one I think we need to think about is the previous job. And once again, it's going back through and remembering people that you used to work for or work with. And I think LinkedIn is a good platform for looking for those people because you can search on the names of companies. And you can post on LinkedIn. I've posted videos from the Nerium Communication Center onto LinkedIn, or also you can send them a private message if you find them on Facebook or email or text, but just let them know what you're up to now. So that's a big category that I think sometimes we overlook. And also referrals from friends. Ironically, it's so funny, like my 10 best girlfriends, none of them are my customers, but they support me and they do refer me to people. So even though someone's not using your product, if they still want to help you, which chances are they will, they'll still tell people about what you're doing. So that's a good one, a good one to think about. As far as husband's coworkers, I call Brad my EHT sales rep, because we all take EHT, obviously, but he gets noticed for his energy at work, even more so now, and people comment, and he's always given a plug to it. And I even made him use the eye serum and do it before and after, and I sent it to one of his coworkers, a woman, and then I knew she'd share it in the office and say, these are Brad's eyes, and show it, and I got a few sales from that. So depending on what your spouse's other job is, that can be helpful as well. Those are the main, the biggies there, but you can read the other ones.
So I think it's, we'd be remiss not to point out Nerium corporate referrals, because once you hit the rank of executive director, you start to get referrals from Nerium, which are just freebies. So that's just one other perk and reason to be motivated to get to that rank, because then when people go to the Nerium.com website, or they see us in a magazine and they don't have a sales rep and they just contact the company directly, those leads get distributed out to executive directors and above on a random basis, so that you start to get those as well. Okay, so let me just stop sharing the screen here. Oops. Okay, perfect. Okay, so what would you say is the biggest tip you have on how to get PCs?
I really gave this a lot of thought, and I think that, wow, I went back to my picture, didn't I, instead of the video? Is it my showing up there?
Yeah.
Okay.
You are in a different square than your picture. You're just logged in on you're coming in on your phone. So.
Right. Anyway, I think, and this kind of, if any of you listen to that Larry, do you say Bennett or Benet?
Benet. Mm-hmm.
Benet webinar that Vanessa shared us the link for. It's coming up on 2 weeks ago. It was excellent. So if you haven't watched that, I recommend watching it. But a lot of this really has to do with building relationships, and building relationships that are not related to Nerium, just to build your network and strengthen your network, because then that's going to expand your reach, and within that reach is where you're going to drip on people and get your preferred customers. So some tips, the things that I do that might help is to, on Facebook, to friend your kids' friends' parents on Facebook. So actually seek them out. Even if you're not socially friendly, they know who you are, you know who they are, you're connected via your kids, so that's a good way to expand. Also, something that I've done since my kids were in elementary school is organize like a coffee date for a few moms in the same grade, with kids in the same grade, just to compare notes about school and what's going on. And we actually are still doing that at this point. Our kids are in college. And that's just a great way to connect with others. And I always say, invite whoever you want. Let's all meet for coffee at Panera or whatever. So that's a great way just to kind of socially get a little more connected to more people. And also using Facebook just to strengthen your relationships. And once again, not relating to Nerium. Message people about things not having to do with Nerium. And anytime I see someone or if I see someone in the newspaper or online that achieved something, or their kids did, I will post that on their Facebook walls and give them a shout out and a congratulations, because some people never get a shout out. And it's fun to throw that up there. And I know when people have done that to me, if they've seen, something with lacrosse with Grant and thrown it up on my wall and just put, hooray Grant, I remember that person in a different way, because it was so nice of them to think to do that. So I want people to think of me that way in general, but then it also comes around to help in business as well. So those are just a couple of tips.
Awesome. So I love the pieces that fit with that Larry Benet training, because I think it's so important that people feel like you're adding value to them, that you care about them. It's that like silly cliche saying that people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So they're naturally going to be drawn to people who they think are genuine, authentically care about what's happening in their lives, and then they're much more open to listening to something that you might need in the future. So, as we talked somewhat about social media, so how many Facebook friends do you actually have?
Okay, well, this is the fun part, and I know some people like Facebook, some people don't. It's worked out really well for me, I can tell you that. When I started with Nerium 3 years ago, I had about 400 Facebook friends. I now have over 1,700 Facebook friends. So it was just, obviously like a quadrupling amount of friends. And I did it gradually over the 3 years. About 200 of them are probably Nerium brand partners. So it's not like they can all be prospects, but over 1,700 at this point.
So if those of you who were not at the Aaron Whittier Regional, that links right onto what Lisa's talking about. He actually taught us that you can print out your Facebook friends so that you can have a more organized, systematic approach of connecting with more of them and really just reaching out and figuring out who's on your list and who you can reach out to, who you can start building relationships with. So if you haven't done that, that's a great thing to do. I know also, one just Facebook tip, you don't want to get put in Facebook jail. You don't want to go and friend like 200 people in a night. She said she did this gradually because they will put a freeze on your account for like spam. So you want to do it gradually. You want to find people, and there is that like, who do you know, friends of friends, who you might know thing that scrolls down. I always look at that, and I try to add people that might be just one separation away, somebody who I know who knows somebody, or somebody we have a lot of mutual friends. So that's a great tip to really expand your Facebook reach. I've helped a couple of people who felt like they were not getting a really good response on Facebook. And usually it's because they have a very limited number of friends and they're not really reaching out to people to kind of build that following on Facebook. Another important thing, if you want more people to see what you're posting, you want to have some interaction. So you want to comment on other people. Don't just like it, but actually comment on people's pictures and start a dialogue and message with them. And you want to use it like it's a virtual chat room, so to speak. And I know, Facebook for me also, Lisa, is my most comfortable social media platform. But this contest that we're doing with the 5,000 5-minute eye results, definitely hop on board with that, guys, if you're not doing that yet. But open an Instagram account if you don't have one. It's really simple. It's not as intimidating as it seems. And that's a whole nother social media platform. And I know Trish Cratchit just got a preferred customer from Australia, stranger to her, and now they want to talk about the business. They signed up on her website, bought the product themselves, and now she may end up with a new brand partner because of one eye serum photo she posted on Instagram. Total stranger, they found her. So definitely, don't be intimidated by other social media platforms, because I think that can help all of us. Okay, so how do you use Facebook to increase your Nerium prospects without being weird, so to speak? They say people can smell commission breath from a mile away. So without it being like people know you're trying to sell to them, how do you really use Facebook without being that girl? Uh-oh, wait, you're muted. For some reason, I can't hear you.
There, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Sorry. I definitely have worked really hard at this part because I don't want to be seen as the strange Nerium person in town. So I work very strategically with Facebook. I know Facebook is fun and it's social, but I use it for business. So I'm very strategic about using Facebook. So my first tip is if you get sucked into Facebook and find an hour later you're still on it, set a timer and just go in for whatever time you have. Don't get sucked into reading everything. When you're on Facebook, you want to be strategic and doing something that's moving your business forward. So my guideline that I like to follow is to do 3 non-Nerium posts to every 1 Nerium post. And I pretty much will do that every day, or maybe almost that every day. Not so much on the weekends. It's kind of when I have time. But some people want ideas for what can you post that's not Nerium. So some of the things that I have found has gotten good interaction with other people are recommendations of local restaurants, especially if it's something you just went to. You also want to show people who are thinking that this might be a good business for them. You also want to show them a fun life of what you're doing, and that you went out to dinner, last night in town, and this is where you went, and it was fun. So that's another reason to do it. TV show recommendations, book recommendations. For any of you that are my Facebook friends, my Life with Boomer posts, hashtag Life with Boomer, for our dog. So that gets a lot of people. I run into people in Doylestown who yell across the parking lot, "How's Boomer?" And I don't really know them. But you know what? It gives them a reason to follow me. So find your little niche. Anything funny, something inspirational. Of course, inspirational quotes are great. Observations. Any recipes. I love the videos, that shows you how to make a quick dinner. Also posing a question, because that invokes people to comment, to give their answer. And you want to get it to be a going back and forth post so that it ends up in the Facebook algorithm being higher up in people's news feeds. And just my own little tip here for with the election being 9 days away, really stay away from anything political, because you will instantly alienate half of your audience because you don't know what everybody is feeling about which candidate. So I don't talk about that at all. As far as with the 3-to-1 ratio, I really have been telling a lot of my new brand partners, I've been following this myself, the safest and quickest way to post something about Nerium is to go to Nerium International Facebook wall and share it from there. You know that it's looking professional, that you're not going against compliance, and if you're working another job and are really busy, it's quick and you can do it, in the few minutes you have in your day to put towards Facebook. And they also have albums on the Nerium International Facebook page that have all the before and after pictures. So go in there and click on photos, and then click on, there's different albums, and you can find a before and after picture there that is compliant without trying to run around and look at everybody else's walls and getting sucked in trying to find a good before and after picture. Something else that we can't really do before and afters of EHT, but I have definitely asked quite a few of my EHT customers if they can give me their testimonial, just text it to me. And when they text it to me, I'll take a screenshot of it so it's in the little, little bubble that shows up when it's a text, and I will post that on my wall. It looks legitimate, when it's in the little speech bubble. But that's a great thing to share as far as your own customers' testimonials.
Awesome. So I think you kind of touched on this a little bit, but I wanted you to share, do you have any other tips for not getting sucked into the world of social media? I know you mentioned a timer, but is there anything else you wanted to share about that?
I would definitely, as I said, only do things that are going to move you forward. So don't just be reading. You want to be active on Facebook. So if you're going to spend time there, make sure you're commenting on other people's posts. I think one of the big things to do is to increase the number of friends you have every week. So you can look at those. They give you a suggested friends list. You can look at that. You can look at, if you have brothers or sisters, look at their friends. They may have been a couple of years older than you or a couple of years younger than you growing up. Those are good people to friend, and I've gotten some good leads on that. The more people you have in the funnel means the more people will know about Nerium just from your posts. Also, if anyone comments on a post that you have put up, whether it's about Nerium or not, make sure you reply to each comment to once again let Facebook know that you are using this platform to be interactive, which is what they want. And it also, every time another comment comes up on that post, the people will be notified who've already commented. So once again, it'll be in front of them again and again. So that's a good tip. And as far as birthdays go, I don't put happy birthday on anyone's wall because they get 200 of them and they're not going to notice it anyway. I private message them happy birthday, or if I have their cell phone number, I'll just text them. And then they'll get back to me with a thank you from that, because it's just a private message. And after they say thank you, I will reply with something else. And then a couple of weeks later, I don't feel so awkward saying, I don't know if you know what I do. Would you like to try the eye serum? Because we've already gone back and forth a couple of times. And what's great with Facebook messaging is that it keeps that history. I just looked back. I was messaging someone to ask about the eye serum. And we had some conversations that went back to 2012 on Facebook that I didn't even remember. Nothing having to do with Nerium whatsoever. But it's nice that you can look back at your history using Facebook Messenger. Let's see here. Oh, sometimes, it's good to spread out when you post things. You don't want to do, 4 posts in a row in the morning that all are going to show up in succession under each other. So a tip that I have is that if you have just posted something and then you see, an inspirational quote you'd really want to post, what I do often is on my phone, I'll get it all ready to post, but then I won't post it. It's all ready, and then I just go about my day doing whatever, and the next time I go to look at Facebook, I see that it's sitting there and hasn't been posted, and then I hit post. So I've done the prep work earlier, but I'm posting it then. There's also programs like Hootsuite where you can plan out ahead of time for the whole week what you're posting. I haven't gone that far, so I don't have a lot of experience with that, but I know there are programs that do that across all social media platforms.
I won't be surprised if you start doing that. That'll be her next project to impress me. Okay, so I was just going to ask you something to piggyback on that, and I forgot what it was. Okay, if it comes back to me. Oh, that I remember. There's certain, to piggyback on that, I've heard certain tips. I don't know if, I don't have the exact times, but they say like certain times of day at like, I think it's like 9:15 when people are just getting into the office, or like 8:30 as they're getting ready for their day, as well as like 3:30, 4 o'clock when people can't wait to get out of the office are great times to post like lifestyle type posts, because as they're feeling like, oh my gosh, I don't feel like going to work, or I cannot wait to get out of this darn job or out of this cubicle, and you're posting a more attractive lifestyle, those are great times to hit those types of people. So that was just a little tip that I thought of as you were talking. Okay, so let's say that you have a person on your Facebook or one of your social media platforms that you want to specifically target because you think that they would be a perfect person to be a PC or a brand partner. Do you have any tips on how to target specific people on social media?
Yes, I did discover a good way to do this. You can choose, I don't know if everyone knows this, I didn't know it until a couple of months ago. You can choose which friends you see first as far as being notified when they post things. So that's in the, if you go to, say it's Jane Smith, you go to Jane Smith's wall and you're already friends, so it says that you're a friend. But up by that friend button, there's also a button that says following. If you click on that, you can choose if you just want regular notifications, like everybody else from that person, or if you want to see first. So if you click see first, then the top people that you want to be interacting with will always show up first in your news feed. So especially if you don't have a lot of time to be scrolling through all the comments and posts, you will always see theirs first, so that you are able to start commenting on everything they post. So they see you are interested in them. And you're able to do that for a while and not have it be about Nerium at all, so that eventually you can, it can lead to being about Nerium.
I'm going to show everybody. Can you see my screen? I'm just going to demonstrate. Was I successful in sharing the screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So here we go. So you click on following. So this is Lisa's page. I'm friends with her. I go to her page, click on following, and if I click this, see first, then it'll change that to seeing. Cool.
So okay. You can change that up all the time. But, it might be something worth thinking about the beginning of the month, first of the month. Okay, who is it that I really want to get to do a trial, or that I want to pique interest about the business? When you start becoming interactive with their posts, it's a higher chance they'll become interactive with yours. So I think that's a good tip. Absolutely. I just learned something new. Okay,
So I mentioned that you use a whiteboard earlier, and I've seen this whiteboard when I was at your house. So tell us about how to use that whiteboard to help with your preferred customer retention. And we'll give you a minute to get it.
Yep. I haven't hung it up because I like to move it around.
Okay.
Can you see it here?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a big board, so it has a lot on it, but specifically for preferred customers, you can see here on the bottom, I write all my preferred customers out at the beginning of every month. And then what I do is to put a check mark next to the ones that have skipped that month. So these are my premier customers. So these are the ones that have skipped a month, so that if they didn't order in October, I think I have a few here, 6 of them, that I need to make sure they order in November to keep their premier status. So that's a great, easy customer care call or text to make, and saying that, I noticed that you didn't get an order in October. I just want to remind you that in order to keep your 10% off and free shipping as a premier level customer, you need to have something sent to you in November. And I actually just did that with all of them, and I got thank yous. One did not even realize she didn't get her October, and her credit card had switched, so she is calling customer support tomorrow morning to get that taken care of. So that's an easy. I know we don't like making calls and doing all that, but that's an easy one to do. So I think just writing them all out and putting a check mark next to who did not get a shipment is important. And then I also have over here on this side, these are my customers who are not premier yet, but they're on their way. So I put the month in parentheses there that they signed up in, and then how many months they have gotten shipments, so that I make sure that these people are not canceling after 3 checks. I want to get them to the 4th check and be premier, and then I can get a point for NLC. So that's important to track that as well. You can, first of all, and also I want to give a shout out as far as the whiteboard goes. I know, Vanessa, I love how you have done yours and seeing it in the background of your posts. And Stephanie on my team and April on my team both are very good with their boards, so they kind of motivated me to use the board. You can, I'm looking here at my notes. Also, when you're calling any of the people that you have check marks next to, remind them that they can order whatever they want, not just the product they've been ordering, because if they're backlogged, by chance, they might not be ready for an order yet. So then you can suggest like the eye serum or something for something new. But I think, they say we focus on what's in front of us. So by having that written out by hand, and having to erase the ones off that canceled and are done, that I hate doing, but then I want to replace those empty spots with new people. It's just a good exercise to go through.
Perfect. Okay. So as we wrap up, do you have any other random tips for retaining preferred customers that didn't fit into one of the other questions?
Yes. I just want to say that it's a lot easier to retain a preferred customer than to get a new one. So be sure that you kind of covet your preferred customers when you get them, and take care of them, and don't just, let them go and not talk or think about them again. One thing I do like to do when I sign up new customers, if at all possible, I like to be the one to sign them up, because then I can make their password up, and then I'm able to get into their account for them and provide that customer service if they want to skip a month or change products or whatever. So I know it's a little bit more work for us, but I like to do it that way. It gives you, I feel like I can have them skip a month versus they might go on and just cancel the whole thing and never get back to it. So that's a good way to be able to do that with having their passwords. Also, it gives you the opportunity when you have their passwords, you cannot look up their tracking information for shipments anymore unless you're logged in as them. We used to be able to do it. Now we can't. So I just did that for someone the other day. She was wondering where her EHT was, and it was en route to be delivered that day, but I was able to find that because I had her password and I just went in and looked for her. And it just gives you the opportunity to be able to provide good customer service when you can get into their account. Another tip is to tell all current and previous customers about any new products. I am already starting to let people know that January 7th, we are going to have a new product announcement. And I'm telling them whenever I have any correspondence, I'm planting that seed now so that when it happens, they've already heard that this was coming and that I'm going to follow up and let them know, what it is. If you have their passwords also, you can anticipate something that might delay their ADO shipment. If they're moving and that, you can check in with them and see what the new address is and see if their billing, address had changed. If they've gotten married and are moving or changing a name, you're able to go in and fix that up. And also I have a couple of college students and I knew they were coming home, so I switched their address, to their parents' address for the summer because they were getting deliveries at school before that. So that's just some extra things you can do to make sure the auto delivery keeps coming, and that you're not losing that customer. And also, just to logistically tell everyone where you can see a list of customers that might be flagged as something gone wrong with their ADO. You go into Leader Dashboard in the back office and click on Business Overview. So if I go into my Leader Dashboard under Lisa Ament and click Business Overview, there is a little button that says Personally Sponsored ADOs. And I did this yesterday. I clicked on it because all of the ADOs on my personally sponsored tree. So underneath people who I have brought into the business as well. And I could scan down that list and see who is flagged as either having an expired credit card and expiring soon. If for some reason it hadn't shipped out, and I was able to give a heads up to a couple of my brand partners to make sure they knew that about their customers. And then, I had a couple of customers in there as well. So if you can catch them and solve those problems before the end of the month, that's going to keep your CCV up higher as well. That's
awesome. So some of these tips have been absolutely fantastic. I think that the overarching theme is that Lisa's super professional. She treats her customers like a customer base in a business and not, like she said, she doesn't sign them up and just forget about them. So good customer service and having people feel like you are servicing them is the key. I totally agree with everything she's saying. I want to have control over my customers' accounts so that I can save them the time. I have a personal story of trying to purchase a product through another direct selling company. And I couldn't, this girl would not help me. And she's very successful. And I couldn't figure out their back office I couldn't figure out their website. And it was very confusing. And when I got on there, I thought I ordered the product I wanted to order and it never came. And a month later, I told her, I was like, hey, I ordered that, that shake, that cleanse, but I never got it. And and my card was never charged. And she was like, oh, you probably just set it up for another shipment. And she never offered to go in and do it for me. And it was a significant amount of money. It was a $250 order. She never said, hey, I'll do it for you. And I just never did it because I don't have the time to sit there and try to figure out what I was supposed to do. And I didn't understand exactly. But if she would have just said, hey, no worries, text me your credit card number, I'll take care of it for you, she would have had that sale. People want convenience. So giving them that extra level of service of no worries, I'll take care of it for you, whatever you need, I'll make sure you have it, I'll handle that account for you, I'll call customer service, I'll assist you with that. That's gonna really get people to stay loyal to you. So thank you so much, Lisa. Do you mind if we open up the lines for questions, if anybody else has any questions?
Sure.
So I think that was absolutely fantastic. I'm not the least bit surprised that she has such rocking CCV numbers with all of those tips. So if you have any questions, you can press unmute and you can just yell out your name and you can ask Lisa a question and hopefully maybe she knows the answer. Maybe she has an answer. I want to put her on the spot, but anybody?
Hey, Lisa, it's Kathy Manfredi.
Hi.
Hi. I'm just wondering how much time a day do you spend organizing and, doing your Nerium business?
Doing my business in general, I kind of tracked it
right
maybe a year ago. So I'm an executive director level. So I'm also coaching a team, but then also personal business. And I think I spend between 15 and 20 hours a week on my business.
Okay.
So I'm just pretty efficient. I think that you have to be really careful when you're working from home because it can take over your house and your life.
Yes.
And, you have to decide when there's some work time and personal time and try to keep them separate so you can be efficient during that time.
Okay, thank you.
Good question. Very good question.
Hi, Elisa. It's Melinda McClay-Ross here from Australia. How are you doing?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. Kathy Henkin is my sponsor, so she's got me on here listening to this, and she's here in the room with me now.
Wonderful.
Lisa, because we've just opened up in Australia, as far as the being weird on Facebook thing, like I've been putting quite a lot of posts on Facebook, obviously, about it. Would you still recommend just to stick to the 3 personal to one Nerium posts at the moment, or?
I would. I think that I would definitely do those 4 posts every day right now because there is hopefully such a buzz going on and it's such an exciting time. Another good idea is maybe to have Kathy or some other people in Nerium post to your wall for you so it doesn't look like you're bombarding your friends with the information, but also they're giving you a shout out. And that's another thing. I always, I'll ask someone else to post something on my wall for me, or I have no problem if anyone asks me to post on their wall about something or to comment. We have to be strategic behind the scenes sometimes. So maybe having other people, tagging you or putting a post on your wall so it's not all you might be helpful also. But congratulations and welcome. We're very excited to have Australia.
Thank you. Your presentation has been really great. It's given me lots of really good ideas and tips. Thanks very much, Lisa.
Oh, you're welcome.
Look at you, you global trainer. You training people around the world. Welcome, Melinda.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Hey, Lisa, it's Emily Casper. Hi. I have a quick question for you. You said that you were planting a seed about the new product coming in January.
Yes.
What are you telling people? What are you saying?
So I have just been letting people know verbally and or on a Facebook message or text. And it just seems like it's been easy to throw into the conversation in saying, oh, and I've just found out our new product is being released on January 7th. I have no idea what it is, but it's supposed to be, one of a kind, patented, and something brand new. I can't wait to be able to tell you about it, when it's announced. So I just want them to hear the excitement, about it and that it's going to be something brand new that's patented. So I'm just throwing that in whenever I can. It's kind of nice that we have the exact date and we know it's going to be announced. So just throwing it in there to give the excitement ahead of time.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Hi, it's Janice.
Hi, Janice.
Hi. And I'm not trying to be like on the negative side, but obviously I'm sure it happens to some people with customers. Like, so what about the customer that may say something like about the scent, that they're not crazy about it, but they love the product, but they're saying like, is there anything you could say to them that they can kind of bypass the scent and continue to use it because it is such a great product?
I think that addressing that before it comes up is the easiest way. And I think it may have been Dana Menardez, which, by the way, if you guys can get to the regional Saturday, Dana is so amazing. I'm very lucky to be able to get on a Zoom call with her weekly to be coached, and she's amazing. So really try to go to regional Saturday. But I think it was her that said that if you preface when someone's buying or doing the trial ahead of time to say, you're going to put it on with water, which is a little different. It's so concentrated. You want to make sure you use some water when you put it on. It has this awesome botanical smell that everyone loves. And then as it dries, you really don't smell it anymore, but it just reminds me of like being in a spa somewhere. And when you say it that way, then at least they're not expecting peaches and cream in that. And I think they think, wow, everybody else likes it. Like it gives them a better attitude to go towards it. I really was so afraid that was going to be a huge obstacle. It does not come up that much if you phrase it that way. I've had 2 people that couldn't use it because their spouse just didn't like the smell. However, I have followed up with them for the eye serum because there's no smell. So you might want to put a little note, smell sensitive, because our future products aren't going to necessarily have that smell. And, if they really don't like it, they really don't like it. I would just say go on to the next person.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else? Okay. Well, thank you so much, Lisa. I know you took a lot of time and effort to prepare for the call and really put a lot of thought into the tips that you gave us tonight. And I think people got a huge amount of value. I did record it. I'm going to stop the recording in a second, and I will post the replay so that we can all share this with our teams and encourage everybody to watch it. So hopefully I'll see a lot of you guys this week at different events. And thank you, Lisa. You're doing amazing, and you're such a great leader, and you're a rock star at getting customers and keeping them. So I know we all have a ton of things that we can pick up and learn from that. So thanks for getting on, guys. Thanks, Lisa, for taking the time, and everybody have a happy Halloween, safe Halloween, and we will see you guys this week at all of our events coming up.
Thanks, Vanessa.
Bye.